We would now like to invite our special guest, Mr. Alvin Tan, Minister of State, Minister of Culture, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, and Ministry of Trade and Industry, to please share a few words. Mostan, please.
Thank you, Theresa, and thank you, Dr. Teo Koh, President, SDSC. Also wanted to say good evening to Mr. Brian Liu, Group General Manager for Hall Park Corporation, all of our athletes, officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Teo Koh's speech sent some shivers down my spine in terms of reaching for the stars, and I think today we are celebrating many of you. In fact, it's really a privilege, and I don't say that lightly, to join all of us today for the 2021 Singapore Disability Sports Awards. As Dr. Teo Koh mentioned, it's really to recognize and celebrate every single one of you as stars for your resilience and contributions to disability sports and also beyond disability sports. The past 1.5 years, it's really been 1.5 years. It's quite incredible. And it has really been like no other that we've seen. To say the very least, it's been a very challenging period with many of you experiencing disruptions to how you train, your training regime, and also the uncertainty around competitions. I can only imagine how hard it's been on you, your coaches, your family, your supporters, and in fact, everyone who's supporting and cheering you on. So it's very apt that this year's award celebrates the tenacity and resilience of our disability sport community during this very unusual, but also very uncertain time of uncertainty. So again, please accept my heartiest congratulations to all our nominees, because in spite of the many challenges and disappointments that the pandemic has brought to you, you continue to stay committed to the sport of your choice. You've adapted, you've found new ways to train and prepare for future competitions in what is a very dark and uncertain period in our history. And really in this dark and uncertain period, sport has really shown in spite of all of these challenges. And for all of you, you have inspired us, lifted our heads up higher with your grit, your dedication, and your resilience. Our nominee for the Sportsman of the Year award, Steve T. Wee Leong, and his athlete competition partner, Ang Ki Meng, are one of the many shining examples amongst you. We're incredibly proud that Steve has been selected to represent Singapore in tandem cycling at the 2020 Tokyo Paralympics later this month. And this will be the first time that Singapore will be represented in tandem cycling. And to prepare for the Paralympic Games, Steve decided to train full-time despite the ongoing pandemic. And he's made significant lifestyle changes and sacrifices. So we'd like to thank Steve for his unwavering commitment to his sport, to our nation, and we wish him the very best as he heads off to Tokyo to fly our flag high. I also wanted to acknowledge the many people who work behind the scenes to support and to journey with our athletes. And I'm of course referring to our coaches, our officials, our volunteers, our caregivers, families, and friends, because they too have had to adapt to the pandemic to provide our athletes the very best training and support environment in light of these circumstances. And I know, and I can just imagine it has not been easy for any of you. So in that vein, I'd like to specifically mention Mr. Hanson Bay, our goalball coach and nominee of the Coach of the Year Developmental Award. As virtual trainings are challenging for visually impaired athletes, Hanson.
We're happy, right? Yeah, it's like a different, the more luxury brand.
Hanson had to be creative in identifying new methods to train them remotely. In fact, Hanson paid great attention to his athletes' well-being during the pandemic, and he went out of his way to engage them on topics such as mental health and resilience, which are topics and issues that you've seen arising and finding its way out in everybody's consciousness. So to create opportunities for the visually impaired to stay active, Hanson organized the 2020 Visibility Challenge and the 2021 Visibility 2-on-2 goalball competition. And these are very truly commendable efforts because they reflect the impact we can make when we work together and support one another. This year, 10 para-athletes across 6 sports will be representing Singapore at the Tokyo Paralympic Games. It's a remarkable achievement made possible because of all of the joint efforts of our athletes, coaches, our Singapore Disability Sports Council, together with MCCY and Sport SG, as well as the larger disability sport fraternity. And at this juncture, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Singapore Disability Sports Council for being such an invaluable partner and champion for disability sports, and for your continued efforts to expand opportunities for persons with disabilities to participate in sports. I would also like to thank the HOPA Corporation for being such a key supporter to the various initiatives, including the awards this evening, as well as the HOPA Para Sports Bursary Awards that support the sporting aspirations of persons with disabilities from disadvantaged backgrounds. We all know that the task of building an inclusive society through sport, where people of all abilities can come together to play and build stronger social connections, is something that it's ongoing. So to that end, I wanted to state unequivocally that MCCY and Sport SG will continue our efforts through the Disability Sport Master Plan to raise awareness of disability sports and to increase opportunities for sport participation among persons with disabilities via inclusive programs, as well as sport infrastructure. But once again, my heartiest congratulations to all our award nominees, and my heartfelt gratitude to the Singapore Disability Sports Council and the HOPA Corporation for making this evening possible. I'm sure we all like to meet with one another in person, but we have to make do with what we can. So I really thank you for everyone's taking the time to be here. And I'm sure, like everyone else here tonight, I'm also looking eagerly forward to following the progress of our Team Singapore athletes at the upcoming Tokyo Paralympic Games later this month. So all the best, you guys. You've already made us incredibly proud of you. We are behind you every step of the way, cheering you with all our heart, all our mind, all our soul. And thank you very much. I wish all of you a wonderful evening of celebrations ahead. And as Dr. Teo mentioned, an early happy National Day to all of our athletes, all of our coaches, and our sporting fraternity. Thank you.